everybody, and welcome back to Palmetto Racing Network for another exciting race here from the Palmetto Racing League's Truck Series here on Saturday night, coming to you live from Phoenix Raceway. If you tuned in earlier this week for the street stock race at Bristol, this one should be no different with the Truck Series here. A little bit of a short track battle. Let's go ahead and get our race info up on the screen here. See exactly what it is we're dealing with here. So Phoenix Raceway, this is the regular season race, week 22 of a lengthy season that was decided to be ended short in August. I believe August 22nd was the date that was put out. So the track length here is just over a mile in length. This is the oval configuration, no dog leg, so racers will not be allowed to use the dog leg tonight. If they drop below that yellow line down there on the shoulder that we see at the checkered finish there, they will catch a black flag penalty. Usually just have to slow up and yield the seconds that they gain from taking that dog leg shortcut. So no use of the dog leg tonight. As we see some drivers out on the track currently, let's go ahead and let's talk point values here. What are our current standings for the Truck Series in points? Right now we see the 05 of Chantel Pottle currently still holding down that first place position there with 691 points overall for the season. Aaron Vogt not far behind her there. Needs a good solid win to really boost him up in the points with 662. Joshua Fix has been holding down that third place spot in the standings for a minute there in that 83 machine with 610 points. Matthew Corley just down below him. A little bit more of a gap there, 449 points. Brent Thompson in the 45 has made his way up the standings now in 5th place with 408 points, so just under Matthew Corley there. Christian Shriver in the 14 machine, not far behind Brent Thompson with 402 points, and then there's a little bit more of a gap there between Chris Shriver and the number 12 of Andrew Ziegler there, who is making his way up the standings with 333 points. Mr. Papa Tater Boyd there in the 001, holding down 8th place with 298. He has been climbing in the standings as well. Austin Ziegler now in the number 9 machine with 281 right behind him. David Martin in the 53, we haven't seen him in some time, 247 points for him. And that is going to round out our top 10 of drivers here in the Truck Series. So a couple of notable names here below 10th place, and it's just because they got a later start here in the series, but the 12th place position in the standings, Ricky in the 11 there, he is climbing up pretty rapidly with 221 points. Stephen Gall just behind him. We've seen him get out here and dominate, and also in the street stock series as well, got himself, I believe, I want to say he's gotten a win over there. I could be wrong. Forgive me if I am. I do apologize. Hard to remember when all this stuff happens. It's kind of all starts to go together there. But also the number 4 machine of Christopher Mulkerin making his way up the standings with 196 points. And also that 33 machine of Brandon Meir. We've seen him win several races in the Truck Series here. Won the race last weekend at the Daytona Road Course variation. He is now in the standings with 187 points currently. So, and then the 27 of Aaron Martin there with 99. So a couple of notable names to mention there that have been climbing up and being more active in the racing. Always a good time to see those guys out on the track here. Love to see it. So let's take a look here. Lone qualifying is about to be wrapping up. These guys getting their 2 laps in here to try and get the fastest lap. Qualify for the grid position here. We'll let them wrap that up. About another 30 seconds to go here. And then we will get our grid results up and see who is going to start where in this one. We just hit the 5-minute mark here, so go ahead and take that timing tower down, and just as soon as we can get your grid information up, we certainly will. There it is available, and it's deciding to act right tonight. Thank you. So it looks like Brandon Muir in the 33 there had the fastest time in qualifying, so he will start out in first place. Christopher Mulker in the 4 there, starting out in second. Chris Shriver in third. Stephen Gall in fourth. Brent Thompson in fifth. Doyle Boyd in sixth. Ricky in that 11 machine starting in 7th tonight. Austin Ziegler starting in 8th. Chantel Pottle starting in 9th. Aaron Vogt starting in 10th place. Andrew Ziegler in 11th. And 12th place is rounded out by the 83 machine of Joshua Fix. So that is our lineup tonight. Let's take you down to the track here. As we see, everyone is getting gridded up now. We'll be getting ready to go green here shortly. Go on and get that short timing tower up there, and our driver nameplate waiting, looks like, on one driver to finish loading in here. And it looks like everybody is in, as these guys will head on out to the track here. As we get ready for some short track racing here with the Palmetto Racing League's Truck Series. Last week's road course action did not disappoint. Hard fought win there from the 33 of Brandon Muir as the pace truck moves off the track here, and we are about ready to take this one green. Get our full size standings up here, this time through the restart zone. And we are off. Green flag racing, lap 1 of 60. So we see the 4 of Christopher Mulker in there, the 33 of Brandon Muir out front with the 14 of Chris Shriver right there behind. A couple of them opting to go single file here. We'll have a halfway stage at the completion of lap 30. The 4 of Christopher Mulker going to tuck in right behind the 33 of Brandon Muir there. Stephen Gall in the 25 back there just behind Christian Shriver. Oh, a little bit of contact with the wall there from the 14 of Christian. We'll keep a close eye here on our event logger. So far, so good now with 3 laps in the books here. As the 33 coming into that turn there, kind of hot. A little close to the wall there, but no contact from him. Keeping us green flag racing here. With the 4 of Chris Mulker right there behind him. Not a track you want to make a mistake at here. Mistake could cost you everything. The air temperature outside with the conditions of the track right now, it's going to take a few laps from these guys. I'd say within the first 10 laps to get that track temperature up. Get these tires really gripping there. You'll probably see a little bit of sideways action out of the rear if these guys don't take it too cautiously through the turns, which it appears some of them are. Looks like the 4 of Christopher Mulker got a little sideways there. Not bad, just a little slight wiggle in the rear of the truck. Keeping it under control though, and keeping it hot on the heels of that 33. Stephen Gall in the 25 now making his way past Christian Shriver for that third place spot. Going to try to close the gap between himself and the 4 of Christopher Mulker in there. A little bit more sideways action from that 4 machine, but he's holding it between the lines there, keeping it steady. Going to run that inside lane there as the 33 of Brandon Muir goes to the outside. Grandpa Thompson, thank you for joining us in the chat, buddy. Good to hear from you. I will agree with you wholeheartedly on that one. This is a hard track to find the speed at. No doubt about that. Throttle control is everything here as the 4 of Christopher Mulker and tries to go to the inside of the 33 of Brandon Muir. See if he can come up with a clean pass here. Looks like he does just enough to do so, but doesn't hang on to it. It doesn't look like he does there. Then the 33 of Brandon Muir taking it back from him now, riding that middle lane. Interesting choice there. I will say it does take some time here to kind of find your groove, and track temperature plays a decent role here, but also throttle control is the biggest thing. And no truer words have ever been spoken, Mr. Thompson, that is for sure. Every corner definitely does make you feel like it wants to put you in the wall, especially that one right there. That turn 2 coming out of on the back stretch there, it'll sneak up on you, get you on that inside too. A little bit of contact there with the wall from the 33 of Brandon Muir, and it looks like that's going to do just enough to kind of jog him a little bit there and get the 4 of Christopher Mulker and out front. As Brandon Muir tries to get his way back up there. Don't want to make the gap too big there between himself and the 4 of Chris Mulkerin. As Grandpa Thompson here has already mentioned, it is hard to find the speed here. Don't want to get too far behind there. So we take a look up there at the track map. Now the looks like the 83 machine back there lagging a bit behind from the rest of the pack. 11 laps completed now of 60. Keeping an eye on our event logger here. So far, so good. Nothing on it. Everybody seems to be holding her between the lines and keeping it straight here. Keeping us under some green flag racing conditions. It'll be interesting to watch tonight to see who loses patience here and possibly creates a mistake and maybe even cost themselves a race here. Seen it happen many a times. I've done it myself here at Phoenix. Phoenix is a very, very tricky track, and it will get away from you in a heartbeat. Very important here to ease back into the throttle coming out of the turns. As Grandpa Thompson mentioned down there, you can get just enough speed to let you overdrive the exit a bit, and that is true. But you have to watch it, especially when the tires start to wear out here as the race progresses on. It'll start to get a bit questionable as you'll wash up a lot faster as well. The 4 of Christopher Mulkerin keeping a decent little bit of a lead there on the 33 of Brandon Muir. Stephen Gall in that 25 doing his best to close that gap between the 33 and himself there. Looks like he's doing a really good job of that. Made up some time there. A little bit of contact with the wall, but it doesn't look like it's going to slow him down too much. Interesting turn of events next week. A lot of people are anticipating the new update coming out from iRacing, as the Dodge Rams will finally be making their debut on iRacing. So a lot of drivers excited to get their hands on one of those, and several league members have already voiced their intent to swap trucks as soon as the Rams are available, and the league is going to allow them to do so. They're not really particular on what truck you drive during the race, and we have a caution now out, and that is not our halfway stage here, so I have to take a look back and see what happened here. Looks like it involved the 001 of Mr. Boyd. Not sure what happened with him here. Looks like maybe... Oh, the 12 of Andrew Ziegler washed up into the rear quarter panel of the 001, causing a spin out there, and that was enough to throw the caution. Oh, Brent Thompson says only Ford makes a real race truck. I would beg to differ, sir. Those Chevrolets come dressed for success. So unfortunate for the 001 of Mr. Doyle Boyd there. Always a real nice fella to chat with, and I know the league certainly appreciates having him in here and seeing him out there on the track.
Pace car is in turn 1, past the dog leg, blow up.
Pay no mind to our tower there, ladies and gentlemen. I know it says second caution. This is only the first here. We're still having some technical issues with that one, triggering the wrong caution counter there. This is only our first caution of the evening as the drivers make their way into pit road here. Looks like the 83 of Joshua Fix going to choose to stay out. There's one interesting thing to note from practice earlier with the new 50% fuel cap being in on these trucks. These drivers were averaging about 38 laps roughly to a tank of fuel. So if there's only 60 laps in this race, that means, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, no green flag pit stops this race. Most likely, all of our pit stops will be handled under caution or stage at this point. Again, I mentioned earlier, we do have the halfway stage at the completion of lap 30. So this will now put the 83 machine starting in first place on this restart. Be interesting to see if he can hold on to it. Still kind of early on in the race. Anything can happen. I will tell you the most patient driver here will most likely be the one who is successful. The one that has not given their tires too much wear. As you see, maybe possibly the 33 of Brandon Muir back there zigging back and forth. Maybe trying to keep the tires warm, or maybe he just took a fresh set. This track is a bit of a beast here. If you take fresh tires and you come out on the track cold, really hard to catch traction there and keep it from spinning out. You got to give it a lap or two to get them tires nice and warmed up. As the caution lights are now off on the pace truck there, so these drivers are all getting set up in double file formation. And we will be back to green flag racing the next time around. Looks like our tower there got a little bit of a jump on the green flag. We are not green flag racing yet. Pace is determined by the lead truck, which would be that 83 of Joshua Fix currently. Restart zone is right up here in the turn, so they will be on the leader here at this point. And he chose to wait all the way out of the restart zone there to make his move and see if he can't keep the lead here as he tries to push out just past the 001 of Mr. Boyd, but Mr. Boyd is going to squeeze out to the outside there and get his run early on as everybody is making their way around that 83 machine, jockeying for position there. Close call there between the 83 and the 25 of Stephen Gall. Christian Shriver in the 14 passing on the outside. Looks like the 11, it looked like, of Ricky there. Everybody making their way around. Doing so in a safe manner. Mr. Boyd just got passed by the 33 of Brandon Meir and the 4 of Christopher Mulkerin, so those two are back at it again. Stephen Gall right back on their heels, it looks like. The 83 of Joshua Fix dropped all the way back to the back of the pack here. Having a bit of an issue there keeping speed. Yeah, I agreed, Brent. That definitely was a crazy bit of a restart there. Honestly surprised that no one wiped out on that one. Lap 23 now of 60 in the books. This time through. Oh, looked like somebody got a little sideways back there.
Sorry, Aaron.
Not sure who that was. Still green flag racing though, no caution this time. Only 5 more laps to go now before we reach our halfway stage, and this race will be halfway in the books here. The 25 of Stephen Gall currently in 5th place, just behind the 12 of Andrew Ziegler there. Ricky in that 11 machine currently in 6th place. Mr. Boyd is now in 7th, just behind him there. Been a good, clean, interesting, competitive race so far. Only a few minor hiccups here and there. Nothing major, though. So we see the number 2 of Aaron Vogt there. Interesting paint scheme on his truck this way. I talked with him earlier on today to kind of get his thoughts about him from how he was feeling about the race, as him and the 83 of Joshua Fix had a small little practice session earlier on. Changed up some of the decals there on his truck in Japanese writing, which I found to be quite interesting. Said that he wanted to increase the exposure a bit and get some more eyes on it. Talked about how he understood the culture over in Japan with the drift racing scene, and thought it would be pretty cool to change some of his language out on his truck to Japanese to get more eyes on it, which is honestly a really neat idea in my opinion there, as the 001 of Mr. Boyd kind of swerved in there. Didn't get contact with anybody though, so it'll keep us green flag racing here. The 45 of Grandpa Thompson there right in front of the 33 of Brandon Meir. Gonna dive down to that inside there and try to make him a clean pass on the 001 of Mr. Boyd, and he does so coming up out of the shoulder there. 29 laps now, 1 more to go to the stage. And this one will be halfway in the books, ladies and gentlemen. Just that fast. The action has really, well, not been a whole lot of action, to be honest with you. Just been clean competitive racing, but it has gotten us to the halfway point here. As the completion of this lap rounds about, we will hit our stage. Some of these drivers will come in and take tires. Some may not. Be interesting to see how the pit strategy plays out here. As the number 4 of Christopher Mulkerin still holding down that first place lead up front now. And that is our stage. Our timing tower is not on point tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and I do apologize for all that may be watching, but this is our halfway stage here. So currently that 4 machine of Christopher Mulkerin is still in first place.
Car is off the dog leg.
We will see how things shake up here with the pit strategy. See who gets in and out of pit road in a relatively fast manner here. You see the drivers already dropping down to the shoulder there. All of them making their way into pit lane. Try to see if we can't get a bird's eye view of who takes what here. Oh, we see it looks like the 9 of Austin Ziegler there rising up to take some tires. Quite a few drivers here taking tires. 25 of Stephen Gall definitely took him a set. Looks like he's getting all 4. Christopher Mulkerin holds that first place position coming off a pit road there, so the 45 of Brent Thompson saying he tried a thing here tonight and decided to take no tires when he went into the pits. I would venture to say that probably didn't go too well. $60 laps don't sound like a lot here, but when we're talking about it in a situation from a tire wear standpoint, it can be everything, and it really just depends on the way the driver handles the truck. And if they're out there sliding every turn, tire wear is going to drastically be affected in a not so good way. Second caution of the evening now here at the halfway stage. Again, ignore the timing tower. It is apparently one up on us tonight, as the pace truck is now off, and these guys will get ready to go green here momentarily. There's the early wave of the green flag this time around when they get to the restart zone. And we will be back underway for the second half of this one, just under 30 laps to go now. The 25 of Stephen Gall shooting to the outside there. Go around the 45 of Grandpa Thompson, shooting himself straight up to the front. Put himself right up there with the 4 of Christopher Mulkerin.
Hey, Josh, I got a black flag there from the start.
Sounds like the 14 of Chris Shriver saying he got a black flag there. Sounds like he may have passed under yellow, possibly. Not sure. I'm sure that will get reviewed tomorrow. Like the 4 of Chris Mulkerin got a little sideways back there now. 29 laps to go in this one, so we are well under the halfway mark here. Be interesting to see how the review goes tomorrow. I would venture to say the 25 would definitely receive a penalty for that move there, as it does state in the PRL rule book that on the restarts, drivers have to maintain their lane and not pass anyone until they have reached the checkered line there, the finish line. In which case, when he dove out there, he was not quite at the finish line there, so be interesting to see how that one plays out. So we take a look there at the 12 of Andrew Ziegler, who is currently in 5th. The 05 of Chantel Pottle in 4th place now. .26 laps to go in this one. Just about ready to wrap this one up. Stephen Gall in the 25 has now made his way up to first place around the 4 of Chris Mulkerin with a slight gap up there between the two. Let's take a jump up front there and
Alright, 14. My bad.
let's also do something else we haven't done in a while. Let's throw our battle box up there.
Didn't mean to get into you back there a couple laps ago.
Check out the battle for first.
You're all good, brother.
The 4 of Christopher Mulkerin there has about a second's worth of a gap between he and the 25 of Stephen Gall. Ricky in the 11 is now up in second place as he passes in on the inside of the 4 machine there. Going to take place of him, about a second gap there between he and the 25 of Stephen. Just 23 laps to go in this one now. 22. My apologies, it's still 23. I was looking at the wrong car there. That is my fault. Take a look further back now. About a 2-second gap there between the 11 and the 25. But now the 33 of Brandon Meir going to move up there into that second place spot. And it wasn't that long ago he was back toward the back there. He just snuck up out of nowhere. Got him a good run going, and now you know he's got his sights set on that 25 of Stephen Gall. He's going to try his best to get up there and take that first place position from him. If you watched the road course race at Daytona last weekend, the 25 and the 33 definitely had a noteworthy battle there during that one. Kept things close, and that was an interesting race there. Definitely came down to pit strategy, and a couple of times we saw the lead change as a result there. 35 lap road course race, and those drivers were getting about 13 to 14 laps per tank of fuel, so we had at least 3 to 4 green flag pit stops last weekend. Man, I tell you, I don't know if it was just the fact that that was a 3.5 mile track configuration, but that race felt like it went on forever. Even sitting up here in the booth, you could only imagine how those drivers felt out there running all 35 of those laps at that 3.5 mile configuration. Grandpa said he still had a set of tires in the pits here, but the caution just would not come. I think a lot of people felt that way in this one for sure. 18 laps to go now, as the 12 of Andrew Ziegler dropping down below the shoulder there. Probably just got a black flag penalty for doing so. Definitely one of the things you got to watch out for here. The dog leg configuration, that is all cool and dandy. You can drop down below that shoulder and run it. However, when they run this oval configuration, you cannot use that shoulder. You can get, both of your left side tires over it, but you definitely don't want to go down more than halfway middle of the car, because it will trigger a black flag, no doubt. Force you to give that time up that you made. As we see the 4 of Christopher Mulkerin there, currently in 4th position, with the 11 of Ricky right up in front of him there. Those two staying pretty close together here with 16 laps to go in this one. Been quite the topic of conversation tonight, it appears, between our top 4 drivers here. I feel like we've done a good deal for the most part. It's been the same 4 all evening there as we take a look at the battle for second place there on our battle box. We'll go ahead and take the battle box down. As we are now 15 laps out from this one being concluded here. The 83 was able to make him some track advantage up here. Looks like the 45 of Brett Thompson trying to gain in on him a little bit. Let's jump back there with old Grandpa and see how he's making out here. I think I've said it once before on our broadcast, but I really dig the golden rims on his truck. I think he said last broadcast that was a difficult color to achieve, and I could definitely see why, because I can't recall a time when I have seen really any cars or trucks out there running that color. So we take a look at the 83 of Joshua Fix here, who's currently in 10th place. Making his rounds out there on the track. Let's take you back up front now. Want to make sure not to miss nothing here. Trying to get a little bit of coverage of everybody. We could go to a blimp view, but I don't like how distorted that view gets. I like seeing what these guys are doing up close and right out there on the track with him. You see everybody here in the turns now kind of taking it a bit easier. Tire wear probably starting to play a factor here as we see the 9 of Austin Ziegler, who is currently in 5th place. He's put a pretty solid run together tonight so far. I feel like that's about where he's been at for the most part here. The 11 machine of Ricky dropping back to 6th. I think that is little bit of a mess there from the 4 of Chris Mulkerin. Let's take a look back at that one. A little bit of contact with the wall there before getting loose, but I tell you what, the 12 machine of Andrew Ziegler definitely pulled a hat trick out there on that one and missed that by a hair. Not causing himself any issues there. And that is going to trigger our next caution there.
Did someone push me?
Sound like a little bit of
last minute.
trouble, it sounds like there from the 14 of
Sitting by the O'Reilly. If somebody can push me, I just need to push. The truck isn't gonna go.
Chris Shriver, maybe possibly running low on fuel there, trying his best to get into the pits as quickly as possible.
I just want to have a shot at least to get the win, but I
Or
don't know. I guess I'm probably just stuck here.
no, I apologize. That is the 4 of Chris Mulkerin, not the 14 of Chris Shriver. Gonna have to get it towed to pits there. I think he blew his engine on the contact with the wall there. So first,
you were doing whatever I wasn't doing, Brandon.
So first really bad incident of the night tonight.
I just got stuck in traffic when I spun it halfway.
So we see the 33 of Brandon Muir now up front behind the pace truck here with the 12 of Andrew Ziegler right there behind him. Some drivers coming off of pit road, joining back out onto the traffic.
I was spending it as hard as I could. Josh, do we have lane choice?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't know how it works, so I don't want to get things jumbled up or confused. Just stick with wherever it tells you.
Brandon Muir in the 33 there asking about lane choice since he is the leader for the start of this restart here. The pace truck is off and they will be getting ready to go green this time around turn 4 as they hit the restart zone up there. The 05 of Chantel Pottle catching up to the pack here. A little bit of a field change. Some of these drivers went in for pits and some stayed out. And the restart is underway here. Looked like a little bit of a slow restart to the 83 machine of Joshua Fix there. Created a little bit of hesitation from the 14 as he was not sure what was going on. 14 makes his pass on the inside. The 2 of Aaron Vogt back there behind the 83 and the side-by-side action between the 83 and the 05. Everybody jockeying for some position here with just 7 laps to go, and this one's 6 now this time around. Brandon Muir in that 33 doing what he can to hold on to that lead there. You can bet your last paycheck here that looks like, wait a minute, let me check our event log here. Looks like we may have had another incident. Looks like everyone is slowing down here. I'm not seeing anything in our...
Hey Josh, give me a black, I guess, for entering closed pits there where I slid.
Looks like maybe that was triggered from the 05 of Chantel Pottle getting a little sideways back there in the action. Sounds like she caught a little bit of the pit lane entry there and it black flagged her. Looks like this will be a green-white checkered restart here. See if we can pull these next 3 laps off clean. Looks like the number 4 machine there of Christopher Mulkerin getting one of his laps back now, getting the lucky dog candidate, passing on the outside. That'll put him being only 1 lap down, but don't think that is going to be enough in 3 laps to try to come back from. Unfortunately, that incident with him hitting the wall earlier and that spin out was definitely a race-ending moment for sure. If he was able to get himself into the pits, I think he'd have been all right. But that engine trouble kept him out there, and unfortunately he had to get towed in. And the caution lights are off on the pace truck, so next time around these guys will be going back green for the first green-white checkered. They will get 3 attempts at this, and as long as no other cautions get thrown here on the white flag lap, they will finish this one out. And this race at Phoenix will be in the books. Let me take a look here while we are on our last lap around. Go ahead and take a look at the schedule, see which race is next. So coming up next weekend, these guys will be back at Las Vegas for 60 laps of racing before heading to Darlington on March 21st for 50 laps. Definitely should be interesting there. Those two tracks. Las Vegas we saw not long ago these guys ran at, and that was a pretty interesting race. And green flag this time around with the 33 of Brandon Muir getting us started. We're going to jump up front with him, see if he can hold on to that lead there. A couple of drivers making contact with the wall back there, but we are still green flag. No incidents, no one spinning out there. Looked like everybody was able to keep it together. A little bit of bobbing and weaving going on out there on the track now with just 2 laps to go. Be one this time around on our white flag lap as the 25 of Stephen Gall is going to look to try and get on the inside of the 33 of Brandon Muir. Keeping it clean and competitive here. He's got enough to get the edge out just a little bit. See if he can hang on to it through turns 1 and 2 here. Coming out on the back stretch. Got a nice little bit of gap. Got a little sideways there, but he held on to it. Looked like the 14 of Chris Shriver got loose and spun out there.
Nice one.
And the 25 of Stephen Gall is going to take home the win tonight. Hear the excitement there in his voice. Definitely a good win there by the 25 for sure. A little bit of a battle toward the end with him and the 33 of Brandon Muir. Definitely a good race nonetheless. Hard fought, hard earned.
Good job, Stephen. Good job.
We'll go ahead and take our tower down there and get our results up on the screen. As the 25 of Stephen Gall gets his
Yeah, good race, everybody. It was fun.
victory donuts in there.
Indeed.
Oh, do
I
apologize.
Anybody I got into out there.
Had the wrong results up there. The 25 of Stephen Gall takes home first place tonight. Brandon Muir in a close second with a good battle between him and the 25. Austin Ziegler in the 9 finishes in 3rd. Andrew Ziegler in the 12 finishes in 4th. Ricky in the 11 finishes in 5th. Brent in 6th. Chantel Pottle in the 05 in 7th. Aaron Vogt in the number 2 machine in 8th. Joshua Fix in the 83 machine in 9th. Christian Shriver in the 14th, finishing in 10th tonight. Mr. Doyle Papa Tater Boyd finishing in 11th. And the 4 of Christopher Mulkerin finishing in 12th tonight. So definitely an interesting race tonight. Let's go ahead and throw our current points up now after the win here tonight from the 25 of Stephen Gall. Let's take a look at our positions. Chantel Pottle in the 05 now getting 721 points in that first place. Aaron Vogt holding down second in the standings with 691 points. Joshua Fix holding down third with 638. Matthew Corley with 449. Mr. Brent Grandpa Thompson with 439, so now within a 10-point deficit between taking over 4th place from Matthew Corley. Chris Shriver in 6th now in the standings with 429 points. Andrew Ziegler is now at 366. Mr. Doyle Boyd is at 324. Austin Ziegler is at 315. And Ricky in the 11 moves up 2 positions in the standings with 253 points. David Martin in that 53 machine now dropping down out of the top 10 to 11th place with 247 points. Then we look at the 25 of Stephen Gall, who just took home the win tonight, moving up a position now with 242 points in the standings. Riley Pottle in the 99 drops 2 positions with 226 points. Brandon Muir in that 33 taking home the 2nd place finish tonight. Moves up a position with 221 points. Christopher Mulkerin in the number 4 there drops a position to 221. So just a point difference there between the 33 of Brandon Muir and the 04 of Christopher Mulkerin there. Aaron Ziegler, Aaron Martin, Dustin Spates rounding out 16th, 17th, and 18th place there with 178 points for Aaron Ziegler, 99 points for Aaron Martin, and 69 for Dustin Spates. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for us this evening. We thank you for taking the time to join us, and if you are enjoying the content and all the action we are bringing from the races between the Truck Series and the Street Stocks, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you can keep up to date with all of our future broadcasts and current content being put out. We hope to see y'all again on Wednesday as the Street Stock Series takes to the track live at about 6:15 p.m. on Wednesday. They will be heading to Thompson Speedway for the 9th race of the season. And then on the 18th, they will be headed to USA International. And that will be the 10th race of the season. Then they'll have a week off. So next week, they'll be at Thompson. 100 laps of racing at Thompson in the Street Stock Series on Wednesday. And then the Truck Series again next Saturday will be at Las Vegas. So 2 more times that we hope you join us next week, and we look forward to seeing you then. Till next time, y'all have a good evening.